down in a windstorm very recently. So I bucked the tree up, but I saved a couple pieces and I peeled the bark off of them. You might ask, why would you want to peel the bark off a log that you're going to use for a garden bed? It just takes long. For some reason, probably because it's able to dry out. The logs take longer to rot out if you peel them. This is just from a spruce tree. I did the bulk of the barking using this thing called an improvised spud bar, I guess. Basically, it's just a stick sharpened to a wedge, right? So you get the bark started, and you just sort of work your way down, and you pry it off, and you'd be surprised how well it works. And not only that, but using this as opposed to using an axe or a knife or something like that is just safer, right? If you're a guy like me who always seems to be injuring himself, it's good to have an element of safety. It's good to have a couple things that are cut proof. So I came out here one evening and just peeled the bark off. This probably took 5 or 10 minutes. So these are all ready to go for that, and I just got to carry them up the hill and get them over there. Alright, so the first thing I got to do is get these logs up the hill, and it's a bit of a ways to go, and it's uphill all the way, and it's a bit treacherous, and this one in particular is heavy. I would say this is probably at the limit of what I could pick up and put on my shoulder at my best, and I'm not at my best right now. I got a broken toe from a number of days ago, so I'm still able to walk around, but I got to be careful. I guess a lot of people would say what I'm doing right now is not careful, but anyway. And I recognize that lots of people watching this, they couldn't pick up like a 150, 200 pound thing, throw it on the shoulder and go anywhere with it, right? So I'm going to show a couple techniques for moving heavy stuff around, without using machinery, because so many of the YouTube videos I watch, these homesteading videos, I mean, they're using like tractors and stuff, and I mean, sure, if you own a tractor, that's handy, but most of us don't own tractors, and by the way, tractors aren't cheap. Right? So yeah, I don't find it very useful or instructive if you're using all this gear to move stuff around in a video, because it implies that the other person watching the video needs to buy that gear, or using an ATV or something like that. I mean, that's an expensive purchase, an expensive thing to own, an expensive thing to operate. My car cost about as much as a good ATV. My car is infinitely more useful than an ATV, given that I can drive on the street with it in traffic and such. So anyway, a couple ways to move heavy stuff. Both these ways I'm going to show you, you're picking up one end and dragging it, because if you're only picking up one end of it, you're only carrying half the weight. And of course, you can set it down anytime you want to sort of recover a little bit. So like when you get something up on your shoulder, you're completely committed. Whereas when you're dragging it, anytime you can just set it back down and take a break. So this tool here is called a Rune. These cost, I don't know, anywhere from $60 to $100, I guess. I'm sure you can get them cheaper, and I'm sure at yard sales and stuff like that you can get them for $5. But it's just actually looks like an old medieval weapon. Probably was. You go through armor very well. But anyway, it's got a hook at the end. Some people call them hookaroon. Okay, and you drive that into the log, and it buries itself in the wood and doesn't come out if you're pulling on it. It's handy if you're splitting wood, because you can just use it to pick up logs and you don't have to bend over as much, so it's a real back saver. But it's also good for dragging logs. You just sink it in and pull, right? Anytime you want, you can just let go of it and catch your breath. So using this technique, you can just work your way, gradually up a hill with a Rune. And when you want it to come out, you just push it down and lift up and it comes out no problem. Of course, there is the risk of the thing coming out when you're pulling on it. You got to sort of reestablish, the bite it has on it every once in a while, just to make sure. You wouldn't want to be, maxing out with your strength and have it come out. You just fall down. So anyway, that's one technique. All right, so the Rune is one way to move a log around, but let's say you don't have a Rune and you can't get to the store to buy one, maybe. But you do have some good strong rope. Heavy rope like this. This is rope literally I fished out someone's trash years ago. Useful in so many ways. You got a nice heavy nail, and this is just cheap dollar store hammer. So take that, drive the nail into the log about, let's say, 1 handspan back from the end, on a slight angle away from the end. Alright, like that. Let's put this somewhere where it won't get lost. Now we double up this rope. This rope's about, I don't know, 20 feet long, give or take. We got the loop end here. Pass it underneath the log, behind the nail. Oh God, that's wet. Put it through like that. And all you got to do is cinch it up. So that the knot is behind the nail. Then you just take the rope, put it around your waist like this. So you got basically your fist is in front of your waist. And you can just sort of go like this, right? And you'd be surprised what you could move even if you're a relatively small person. Just doing that. This basically puts all of the strain into your legs. And you're basically taking your back out of the equation, or for the most part. So you're basically lifting with your legs, and you're ensuring that you lift with your legs, and you've got both your feet on the ground. So you're taking the least amount of risk of falling down, and you're getting the most out of your body in terms of the power you have available to move things. So let me back this camera up, and I'll show you the whole scene of me moving this thing up the hill. If you watch a lot of documentary videos, you probably realize that the way I'm moving this is kind of how they hook something up to a horse or a draft animal. Same idea, except you're the horse. Hey folks, this video is just an excerpt from a much longer video I'm currently working on how to build a terrace garden on a hill. I cut this little bit out because I didn't really think it worked in that video, but I thought some people might find it interesting. So if you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe.